Welcome to the Equipped Disciple channel. My name is Rick McClatchy. I will be your host. We are here to be and to make disciples of Jesus, and we do that through daily devos, through Sunday sermons, and through other discipleship resources. We are here to equip you. All right, welcome into another day of your daily devos. I'm Pastor Rick, and we are jumping into the last section of Proverbs chapter 24. We're going to be hitting some great verses today, verses 25 through 34 to finish it off. And so, hey, it's going to be a good day. All right, it's going to be a good day. We're going to talk about, hello, my name is Slacker. No, if you don't want to be a slacker, you need to do this. So that's where we're going today. If you don't want to be a slacker, you got to do this. So if that interests you, you need to hang on. You need to come along for the ride. Am I right? And so if you could like and comment and subscribe and click the little bell notification so that you get notified when more daily devos get released, that would be super cool. So with that, let's go ahead and jump on into the first verses. Whoever says to the guilty, you are innocent, peoples will curse him and nations will denounce him. But it will go well with those who convict the guilty, and a generous blessing will come to them. He who gives an honest answer gives a kiss right on the lips. Complete your outdoor work let's try that again. Complete your outdoor work and prepare your field. Afterward, build your house. Sorry that the word didn't show up there on the screen. I don't know what happened. Sometimes it moves my words around, okay? But so, all right, let's jump into the generous blessing to those who uphold righteousness and justice. That we've talked about that. We talked about this yesterday towards the end of the day, towards the end of the video. You know, it's the last, because verse 24 is the last verse of our section yesterday. And we just kind of crammed it in with the first verse today because it's kind of a continuation of the thoughts. But God is not interested in partial scales. Like, he wants us to have honest scales of justice. Like here in the United States, you know, Lady Justice has the blindfold on, so she's not looking at you to see if you're rich or poor, if you have a certain color of skin, if you're tall or short, or, you know, like any of those kinds of things. Justice is supposed to be blind to all of those things. It's supposed to deal with the facts of the matter. And God's saying that there's a generous blessing to those who uphold that kind of righteousness and justice. And so it's something that we as Christians should certainly be about, that we try to be people that build a culture of righteousness and justice. And I loved this idea of an honest answer is like a kiss, because I was thinking about how, you know, if you've ever kissed someone, if you tried to do it too hard and, like, you know, kiss them really hard, you know, that could be really painful. You know, you could hurt your teeth, you could cut your lip, you could bruise your lip. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that could happen if you're being too rough with the kiss. But if it's a gentle, loving, caring kind of a kiss, it can be quite enjoyable and helpful, right? But same with an honest answer. If an honest answer comes in a little too rough, a little too strong, a little too harsh, then it can actually really bring pain and damage. It can actually damage relationship. It can kind of ruin the moment. So you want to make sure that you're giving a lot of care to the honest answer and being tender and caring about it. And I just thought that was a good reminder. You know, it's a good reminder of how we should handle the, you know, a gentle answer turns away wrath. So an honest answer might as well be gentle. Now, sometimes the situation calls for just being very clear and not being too you know, hopping around on it or whatever. You just have to be direct. But as a general rule, an honest answer should come in with gentleness and care, the truth spoken in love. And young men out there, I'm talking to you right now. You know, focus on your plan for making income before you go getting married. You know, tend to the field outside of how you're going to produce your income before you go trying to figure out the life, you know, the family that you're going to build, the house you're going to build. So when we're talking, I mean, it's kind of talking about the physical house in this particular context, but kind of how it applies to us today is get your order, your affairs like in order, where you're going to how you're going to generate income, how you're going to you're going to provide for your family, and then begin to build that family, that home. And so, good words to the wise here in Proverbs. Crazy, right? All right, let's go ahead and check out. Don't testify against your neighbor without cause, and don't deceive with your lips. Don't say, I'll do to him what he did to me. I'll repay the man for what he has done. So I went by the field of a slacker and by the vineyard of one lacking sense. All right. So don't avenge yourself. Leave it to the Lord. Don't avenge yourself. Leave it to the Lord. It's don't say, I'll do to him what he did to me. I'll repay the man for what he has done. Vengeance is mine. I will repay, says the Lord. We want to make sure that we leave that stuff in the hands of God, because God's the one that applies justice perfectly. We are the ones that get all emotional and messed up by how we've been treated and what's going on. And a lot of times, uh, it's not about getting even, it's about getting ahead. And we end up escalating the problem rather than solving the problem. And so don't say, I'll do to him what he did to me. I'll repay the man for what he has done. Leave it in the hands of the Lord. Trust the Lord to take care of you in those kinds of situations. When somebody has wronged you, allow the Lord to come in and rescue you from those situations and balance the scales. Leave it to the Lord. All right. And the slacker, all right, the definition of the word slacker is slow, idle, a person who's disinclined to work or to exert himself, a sluggard, lawless, iniquity. It's really interesting to me that the lawlessness and iniquity are included in the concept of the sluggard as you look at Bible dictionaries and that kind of stuff. It's like just, they say idle hands are the devil's playthings, and it kind of seems like that's true. So you want to make sure that you are an industrious person, somebody that is ready to work, ready to exert themselves to accomplish the work that's in front of you, because you don't want to go and be a slacker. So let's take a look at what we got here. I don't know if you're any kind of a Back to the Future fan, but I always appreciated Principal Strickland. You know what you are? You're a slacker, and always wanting to call out the youth that they would not grow up and be slackers, but that they would be productive contributors to their community. And so he didn't always necessarily go about it the right way. He saw everything through the lens of slackers. You want to be a slacker for the rest of your life? He's talking to old McFly there. And and then also he was saying the same thing to Biff as well. You know what your problem is? You have a real attitude problem. So he recognized that a lot of being a slacker is tied in with your attitude, your heart attitude. And you want to guard your heart, right? Because out of your heart flows all the issues of life. And so the being a slacker is really a heart attitude. So what else does the Bible have to say here about it? So thistles had come up everywhere. Let's back up to um, I went by the field of a slacker and by the vineyard of one lacking sense. And thistles had come up everywhere. Weeds covered the ground, and the stone wall was ruined. And I saw it and took it to heart. I looked and received instruction. So let's practice some prudence today. See it and take it to heart and make adjustments to avoid the things that you're seeing going wrong. I saw it, I took it to heart, I looked, and I received instruction. So when we see these kinds of behaviors in other people, is to look and to evaluate what's going on in their lives, and what can we do differently? How can we guard ourselves against those kinds of outcomes in our lives? And so we want to look at the thistles that are coming up everywhere, the weeds that are covering the ground, and the stone walls that get ruined because of just lack of attention, because of the laziness, because of the sluggardness, because of the wickedness and the iniquity that comes from that lifestyle. And we want to look at it, we want to take it to heart, and we want to receive instruction from those examples. Practice prudence. That being a prudent person is talked about quite a bit in Proverbs. We've talked about it a good bit in these Devo videos, and it is looking down the road and seeing what's coming and making adjustments accordingly. And so if you see little bits or tendencies in your life of being a sluggard, being a slacker, you want to address it and you want to begin to make adjustments to that. Because here it says, a little sleep and a little slumber, a little folding of the arms to rest, and your poverty will come like a robber and your need like a bandit. So it comes on so subtly, but suddenly as well. And so just a little sleep, a little slumber, I'm just going to take it easy. I'm just going to relax. I'm just going to do this thing. But we want to make sure that we are being people that are productive and taking care of what God has called us to take care of. So with that, I just want to say a big hearty God bless you today. Have an amazing day, and I will see you tomorrow.